What if everything you know about time is wrong? I mean everything. Your memories of yesterday, your experience of this very moment, your hopes for tomorrow. What if it's all just one big, persistent, cosmic misunderstanding? We experience time as a river, flowing relentlessly in one direction, carrying us from a fixed past towards an unknown future. But what if it's not a river at all? What if it's a frozen lake, and we're just slowly, very slowly, realizing where we are? These aren't just late-night philosophical musings. They are serious theoretical frameworks proposed by some of the most brilliant minds in physics and philosophy. The ideas we're about to explore will stretch your brain, bend your understanding of causality, and fundamentally challenge your perception of reality itself. We're going to peel back the familiar clock face of our daily lives and stare into the strange, whirring, and possibly non-existent cogs of the universe. Are you ready to question the very fabric of existence? Good. Because today we're going to journey to the very edge of what we think we know about the fourth dimension. We'll explore concepts that make science fiction look like a documentary and might just change the way you see every single second of your life. So, buckle up your temporal seatbelts. Let's count down the 5 most mind-bending theories about time. Number 5. The block universe theory. Imagine your entire life from the moment of your birth to the moment of your death, laid out all at once. Every laugh, every tear, every boring Tuesday afternoon, not as a sequence of events but as a single, complete object. This is the core idea of the block universe. It suggests that time isn't a flowing river but another dimension, just like length, width, and height. Our past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, coexisting in a 4-dimensional block of space-time. Think of it like a loaf of bread. Each slice is a moment in time, a now. We, with our limited perception, experience these slices one by one, moving from the past slices to the future ones. But from a higher dimensional perspective, the entire loaf, the entire timeline of the universe, already exists. The dinosaurs aren't gone, they're just in a different part of the space-time block. Your 80th birthday party isn't something that will happen, it's already there, waiting for your consciousness to arrive at that slice. This idea, also known as eternalism, has profound implications. It suggests that the future is already written just as the past is. Free will might be an illusion, a product of our ignorance of the full space-time block. We feel like we're making choices that shape the future, but perhaps we're just playing out a pre-existing script, moving along a path that was determined from the Big Bang onwards. It's a deterministic view of the cosmos that is both unsettling and strangely comforting. If this is true, then the distinction we make between past, present, and future is entirely subjective. It's a trick of human consciousness. An alien being with a different kind of perception might be able to see the entire block at once, viewing our entire lives as we might view a landscape painting. They would see our birth and our death as equally real, equally present points in the grand cosmic structure. This isn't just philosophy, it's a consequence of Einstein's theory of relativity. The now you are experiencing is not the same now for someone moving at a different speed or in a different gravitational field. There is no universal now slice that cuts across the entire universe. Everyone has their own slice, their own present, which means all slices must be equally real. The universe isn't happening, it just is. This challenges our most fundamental intuition. We feel the passage of time, we feel the now is special, but according to the block universe, that feeling is a neurological quirk. The you who started watching this video and the you who will finish it are both equally real, existing in different coordinates of this grand 4-dimensional structure. You aren't traveling through time, you are a permanent fixture of time. So, when you look at an old photograph, you aren't just looking at a representation of the past. In a very real sense, you are looking at another region of space-time that is just as real as the one you're in right now. That moment, that person, that place, it's all still there. A permanent part of the block. We've just moved on to the next slice. Or have we? Number 4. Time dilation. We tend to think of time as a constant, a universal metronome ticking away at the same rate for everyone, everywhere. 1 second on Earth is 1 second on Mars is 1 second on a spaceship zipping past Jupiter, right? Wrong. In the early 20th century, a patent clerk named Albert Einstein shattered this notion with his theory of relativity, revealing that time is not absolute, it's stretchy, it's elastic. Time dilation is the phenomenon where time can literally slow down or speed up depending on 2 things: your velocity relative to someone else, and your proximity to a massive gravitational field. Let's start with speed. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This isn't a feeling or a perception, it's a measurable physical reality. If you were to travel in a spaceship at 99% the speed of light for what feels like 1 year to you, you would return to Earth to find that over 7 years have passed for everyone you left behind. Your clock, your heart, your aging process, everything would have genuinely run slower. This leads to the famous twin paradox. One twin stays on Earth while the other takes a relativistic journey through space. When the traveling twin returns, they are younger than the twin who stayed home. They have literally time traveled into the future. This isn't science fiction, it's a proven effect. GPS satellites, for instance, have to constantly adjust their clocks to account for this very phenomenon. The second part of this is gravitational time dilation. The stronger the gravity, the slower time flows. Time on the surface of the sun passes more slowly than time on Earth. Even on our own planet, this effect is detectable. A clock at sea level will tick ever so slightly slower than a clock on top of a mountain, where gravity is marginally weaker. The difference is minuscule, but it's real. Your head ages faster than your feet. This concept is famously visualized in the movie Interstellar, where astronauts land on a planet near a massive black hole. For every hour they spend on the planet's surface, 7 years pass for their crewmate orbiting above. The immense gravity of the black hole, Gargantua, is warping space-time itself, causing time to crawl at a snail's pace for those within its grasp. This is Einstein's theory of general relativity in dramatic action. So what does this mean for our perception of a single universal time? It means it doesn't exist. Time is local. Your now is tied to your specific frame of reference, your speed, and your gravitational environment. There is no master clock for the universe. Each of us carries our own personal clock, and its ticking rate is not guaranteed to match anyone else's. This completely upends the Newtonian idea of a clockwork universe. Time is not a rigid backdrop against which events unfold. Instead, it is a dynamic, malleable player in the cosmic drama, interwoven with space to form the fabric of spacetime. A fabric that can be bent, stretched, and warped by mass and energy. The next time you feel like you're losing time, remember that, in a way, you always are. Just at a different rate than everyone else. Number 3. Presentism versus eternalism. We've touched on eternalism with the block universe theory, the idea that all of time, past, present, and future, is equally real. But this view has a fierce philosophical rival, a theory that aligns much more closely with our everyday intuition. It's called presentism, and its central claim is simple and powerful: only the present is real. The now is all that exists. According to a presentist, the past is gone. It no longer exists. Dinosaurs are not in a different part of a space-time block, they are simply non-existent. The memories you have are just traces, neurological patterns in your currently existing brain, but the events themselves have vanished into nothingness. Similarly, the future is not yet real. It is pure potential, a realm of possibilities that have not yet come into being. The only thing that has genuine existence is this razor-thin, ever-moving moment of the present. This feels right, doesn't it? It captures our experience of time's passage, the feeling of becoming. We feel the past slipping away and the future approaching. Presentism validates this feeling as a deep truth about the universe. It suggests that reality itself is constantly being created, moment by moment. The universe is not a static block, it is a dynamic, unfolding process. But presentism has its own set of problems, especially when confronted with modern physics. As we discussed with time dilation, Einstein's relativity shows that there is no universal present moment that everyone can agree on. My now might contain your yesterday if we are moving at different speeds. So whose present is the one that is real? If only the present exists, which present are we talking about? This is the problem of temporary intrinsics. Eternalism, or the block universe view, solves this neatly by saying all moments are real, so it doesn't matter which now you pick. But presentists have to grapple with this. Some try to argue for a privileged frame of reference, a sort of true universal now, but this goes against the grain of relativistic physics. It's a profound clash between our deepest intuitions and our most successful scientific theories. This debate isn't just an abstract game for philosophers, it touches on fundamental questions about causality, identity, and existence. If presentism is true, the future is genuinely open. Our choices matter in a deep reality-creating way. If eternalism is true, the future is as fixed as the past, and our sense of freedom might be an elaborate illusion. We are simply discovering a path that was always there. So, which is it? Is reality a single, ever-changing frame with the past ceasing to be and the future yet to exist? Or is reality a vast, four-dimensional crystal, unchanging and eternal, with our consciousness merely illuminating one facet at a time? This is one of the biggest unsolved debates in the philosophy of time, a true battle for the nature of what it means to be. Number 2. The arrow of time. Why do we remember the past but not the future? Why does a broken egg never spontaneously reassemble itself? Why do we age in one direction, from young to old, and never the other way around? These questions all point to one of the most profound and mysterious properties of our universe, the one-way direction of time, what physicist Arthur Eddington famously called the arrow of time. At the microscopic level, the fundamental laws of physics are almost entirely time-symmetric. A video of two particles colliding would look just as plausible if you played it backward. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, their equations work perfectly well whether time flows forward or backward. Yet, in our macroscopic world, time clearly has a preferred direction. Things fall apart, they don't fall together. This asymmetry is a puzzle. The most widely accepted explanation for the arrow of time comes from the second law of thermodynamics. This law states that in an isolated system, entropy, a measure of disorder or randomness, always tends to increase. A neat, ordered room will naturally become messy over time. A hot cup of coffee will cool down, dispersing its heat into the room. The universe as a whole is moving from a state of low entropy to a state of high entropy. So, the past is simply the direction of lower entropy, and the future is the direction of higher entropy. The universe started in a very special, highly ordered, low-entropy state at the Big Bang. The arrow of time is just the universe's relentless, statistically inevitable march towards thermal equilibrium, a state of maximum disorder known as heat death. We remember the past because it was more ordered, and we have records, memories, fossils, and so on of that order. But this raises an even deeper question. Why was the universe so ordered to begin with? This past hypothesis is one of the biggest mysteries in cosmology. Why did the Big Bang produce a universe with such incredibly low entropy, setting the stage for the arrow of time to emerge? We don't have a definitive answer. It seems the universe was just born that way, a cosmic condition that allows for stars, planets, life, and the very experience of time's passage. There are also other arrows. There's the psychological arrow of time, our subjective experience of time moving forward. There's the cosmological arrow, the fact that the universe is expanding, rather than contracting. Most physicists believe these other arrows are ultimately dependent on the thermodynamic arrow. Our brains create memories, a process that increases entropy, thus aligning our psychological arrow with the thermodynamic one. So, the reason you can't unbreak an egg is the same reason you can't remember tomorrow. Both would require a spontaneous, localized decrease in entropy, a violation of the overwhelming statistical probabilities that govern our universe. The arrow of time isn't a fundamental law in itself, but an emergent property of a universe that started in a very particular way and is now simply and irreversibly running down. Number 1. Time as an illusion. We've explored time as a dimension, as something elastic, as a debate between now and forever, and as an arrow pointing towards disorder. But what if the most mind-bending theory of all is also the simplest? What if time doesn't exist at all? What if it's not a fundamental feature of the universe, but a construct, an emergent property, or maybe just an illusion created by our own consciousness? This isn't just a philosophical fancy. Some of our most advanced theories in physics point towards a timeless reality. When physicists try to unite general relativity, the science of the very large with quantum mechanics, the science of the very small into a single theory of everything, something strange happens. In many of these candidate theories, like the Wheeler-DeWitt equation in quantum gravity, the variable for time, t, simply vanishes from the equations. The universe, at its most fundamental level, appears to be static and timeless. If the fundamental reality is timeless, then where does our powerful experience of time's flow come from? One idea is that time is an emergent phenomenon, much like temperature. A single molecule doesn't have a temperature. Temperature is a property that emerges from the average motion of many molecules. Similarly, perhaps time doesn't exist at the quantum level, but emerges at the macroscopic level from the complex interactions of particles, a bit like the thermodynamic arrow of time we just discussed. Another, more radical view, championed by thinkers like Julian Barber, is that the universe consists only of a series of nows, a vast collection of all possible configurations of the universe existing simultaneously and without any temporal order. Barber calls this landscape Platonia. Our sense of time's passage is simply our consciousness creating a path, a narrative by stringing together these static nows in a way that appears logical and sequential, based on memory. Think of it like the frames of a comic book scattered on the floor. There is no inherent order or flow between them, but our mind picks them up and arranges them in an order that tells a coherent story. We create the narrative of time. In this view, change is real, but time itself is not. The universe doesn't evolve through time, it's just a collection of different arrangements, and our mind perceives a transition between them. This is perhaps the ultimate challenge to our perception. It suggests that our most basic experience, the feeling of one moment following another, is a product of our biology and psychology, not a feature of the physical world. Time, in this sense, is a feature of our relationship with the universe, not a feature of the universe itself. We are the clocks. We are the source of the river. So is time the bedrock of reality, or the grandest illusion we've ever concocted? From a timeless, static universe described by equations without a T to our rich, dynamic, and flowing experience of life, the gap is immense. And bridging that gap remains one of the greatest challenges in all of science. The possibility that time isn't real forces us to ask, if time doesn't exist, then what are we? So, we've journeyed from a universe where all of time exists at once to one where time is stretchy and personal, to a reality where only the present moment is real. We've seen how the arrow of disorder gives time its direction, and we've even confronted the staggering possibility that time itself might be nothing more than a stubborn illusion generated by our own minds. Our comfortable linear perception of time is, it seems, just the tip of a very strange and very deep iceberg. These theories push the boundaries of human thought and show us that the universe is far more bizarre and wonderful than we can typically perceive. Whether time is a real dimension, an emergent property, or a trick of consciousness, questioning it reveals the profound mysteries that lie just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. It reminds us that what we take for granted as reality is often just one possible interpretation. So, I have to ask you, which of these theories blew your mind the most? Was it the block universe with its predetermined future, or the idea that time is an illusion we create? Let me know your favorite or most terrifying theory in the comments below. I'd love to read what you think. And if you enjoyed having your reality questioned and want to explore more mind-bending science that makes you see the world differently, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be explored. And as always, thanks for watching.